Welcoming guys to my welcoming guys, and we're gonna be talking about the Minnesota Vikings 2025 season. It was one of them seasons where the ultimate goal was to see what you had in JJ McCarthy. I know that you drafted him in 2024, but he missed out his rookie year because of injury, and you did well. You got to the you did pretty well under Sam Darnold, but you had to see what you had with JJ McCarthy, especially in his year two, kind of his rookie year in 2025. So ultimately, uh, you know, you go in the off season, and first off, the additions that you bring in, you address that offensive line. Ryan Kelly comes in. You give Ryan Kelly $80 million for 2 years from the Colts. Will Fries comes in. Javon Hargraves comes in for the 49ers on that defense. Isaiah Rodgers comes in from the Eagles. So you're thinking that's pretty good, especially when you look at the defense side of things. Brian Flores is beefing up his secondary with Rodgers and Hargrave. And then, you're looking at, then you go back to the tackle, offensive tackle, Justin Skalouk from the Buccaneers. And then Eric Wilson comes in from the Packers. Tim Jones comes in, Rondale Moore as well from the Falcons. So again, didn't do too bad in the signing and free agencies and stuff like that. And then you trade a couple people away, Ingram got traded away to the Texans for a 2026 round pick this off season. Jordan Mason got traded to the 49ers. And Harrison Phillips and Malachi Blackman got traded the other way because the other two guys came in. Adam Thielen departed and went to the Panthers and then retired. So you did get a couple of people. You got people off the salary and stuff. In the draft, though, you heavily invested. The Vikings heavily invested on, especially they was focusing like kind of the Lions were on guard. They would make sure that they get some protection for the rookie quarterback, and bringing in Donovan Jackson as a guard from Ohio was a good start. They also traded away a couple of picks to the Texans and Jacksonville and the Houston Texans again. Then they go back in for they go for Ty Felton, wide receiver, to help up that offense and give more weapons to JJ McCarthy, and Kobe King and Gavin Bartholomew comes in at tight end. So you've not done too bad. Tyron Ingram Dawson comes in at defensive tackle. So again, you're beefing up that defense again, which is great. And then you kind of look at the additions that you have, like Jordan Addison is still down there. You still got an elite level weapon in Justin Jefferson, Miles Price, Jalen Naylor, TJ Hopkins. So again, you've got a pretty good, decent core there, I think, of weapons. Points for, it was 28 out of 32, and you had Justin Jackson. Your offense stunk last year, and that was down to Wes Phillips, your offensive coordinator. I think what play calls he was making last year, I do not know, but it was not good. You finished you was seventh. You was really bottom of the barrel for offense, 28 out of 32. Defense, on the other hand, was better. You were 7th out of 32 points against Brian Flores. Really, the games that, again, you look at this Vikings team, they were 9-8. They were same as the Lions, 9-8, and they finished third. It was an okay season for the Vikings. It wasn't like spectacular, but they did beat the Bears on prime time with JJ McCarthy starting. They beat the Lions twice. It was one of those seasons where you did have your growing pains with a JJ McCarthy. Was injured for a bit as well because you got injured, and that again, and then you're thinking like, this is a second injury now that he's had in his short career in the NFL. He was out for quite a few weeks, and then you've got to bring in Carson Wentz. So yeah, it was one of them where you're looking at this and going, and you're looking at the draft for 2026. It's not really good for quarterback wise. I don't think you're going to go for quarterback anyway. Cap space, you've got about 5 million in dead cap space, so you've kind of got to maneuver yourself around and see what you can do. And maybe you bring in another QB. Maybe bring in like a James Winston or somebody like that to just push. To give a push to JJ McCarthy. Maybe you bring in somebody. You could bring I don't know, maybe an Aaron Rodgers if he wants to play again. Who knows? But overall, what did this team again? And notably after the season, they fired their GM, Keswick Messiah. He got fired, so they're still looking as I'm recording it and announced the GM. Yeah. But you definitely need to do offensive coordinator. Absolutely. Like, you need to cut ties with Wes Phillips. He just sucks at being an offensive coordinator. You need to cut your ties with him. You're looking at this team for drafts. They've got a first round pick, 18th overall. They got a second round pick in the 47th round. They got a third round pick, 82nd, and then they got a fourth round pick, fifth round pick, sixth, seventh round pick. So, especially you're going into year 3 now with JJ McCarthy, you've got to make sure that he stays healthy, because you don't want to go into you don't want to look at 2027 thinking, are we gonna start looking at another quarterback now? We're gonna maybe move on for JJ McCarthy. Did we fuck up in 2024? Should we have gone for a Drake May or somebody like that? Because look at Drake May, he's in the Super Bowl in a couple of days, and that could have been you guys, and you went for JJ McCarthy. And so the question is going to be asked if you get the right GM, ultimately Kevin O'Connell as well. Is he on the hot seat? I don't know about that, but you've got to make sure that you got to get the GM right. The GM has to be right. You've got to get the right GM in. That's going to build around JJ McCarthy, or if you don't want to go with JJ McCarthy, build around JJ McCarthy for 2026, because the draft class is not that good, especially on the quarterback side. And then basically what you need some more additions on that offensive line. You probably need some more additions on tight end. There was rumors that Brian Flores was going to get another head coaching job. He stayed, which is a good thing, but then you got Wes Phillips. Do you really trust a Wes Phillips to develop and grow and nurture H.J. McCarthy? I don't think so, but yeah, it's going to be interesting next in the draft, see what the Vikings do. And but yeah, you look at especially the NFC North, it's really competitive, and the Packers, Bears, the Lions, very competitively. You've got to make sure that you get this draft right, because you're probably looking at 2027 maybe for a quarterback. Who knows? But yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments, guys.